Mad genius of rock and roll.
Well, hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. I am your host, the amazing Super Chris. Thank you for joining me. My co-host, Ryan Coltastic, is here with me. The fantastic Coltastic. She's back in the back doing, whatever sinful, wicked people do whenever they're not up on the thing. Today's Thursday, the day of Thor. Hopefully, you guys have had a good week. I had a good week. I'm looking forward to the weekend. Tomorrow is going to be Sci-Fi Friday. Looking forward to that with Ryan because tomorrow we're going to be covering Firefly. She's watched Firefly and Serenity. So really looking forward to talking about that on Sci-Fi Friday tomorrow. So but we'll get around to that, guys. We'll be back in just a minute. Good morning, everyone.
Do you have a loved one who's on their deathbed, but they've yet to give themselves up to the Lord?
Are you sure you don't want to come to Jesus?
No.
This is your final chance.
No. Worried they're headed to the fiery pits of hell.
Your very last chance.
No. I've been wicked and sinful. I deserve to burn in the hot place.
As you wish. Farewell, my heathen husband.
Farewell, my... Well, fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of post-mortem baptismal kits. No more worries about being miserable alone forever. Be a good Christian and share that eternal pain and suffering with the ones you love.
I'm in hell. Not as hot as I thought it'd be. Kind of feels like Houston, minus the humidity. Hello. My favorite drink crafted to perfection. Ooh, and some dank ass weed.
I can't bear to be down on my face chanting, holy, holy, holy is the Lord, every day, all day, for all eternity, by myself.
Wow, is that George Carlin? And Alan Turing, look at that. Carl say, oh, I am so honored. You've been my hero since I was a kid. Neil deGrasse Tyson, what are you doing here? Oh, I get it. I get it. Schrodinger's heathen. Very cute, you. Very cute. That's fantastic. Oh, what is that? What is? It's holy water. Oh, it burns. No, this isn't where I want to be. Pabst Blue Ribbon and a Marlboro? No!
Father Flanagan's post-mortem baptismal kit. Dead kid tested, Mother Teresa approved.
Is that the Pope and John Paul? Jim Jones and Jimmy Swaggart, huh? I can see that coming. Neil deGrasse, what are you doing? Holy, holy, holy is the Lord. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord.
Thanks, Father Flanagan.
Damn them to an eternity in heaven for only $59.99. They wouldn't appreciate it, but you'll feel better, and that's the point, isn't it? Get yours now. Your heathen loved one's time is running out.
Holy, holy, holy is the Lord. This is some bullshit. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord.
Go.
All right, welcome. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining us. Let me bring up my wonderful co-host, Ryan Coltastic. There she is. Yay.
Hey, Diddley.
Yes, let me see. There it goes. There it goes. I'm finally getting my soundboard working. I've been working on having a new soundboard kind of situation here,
That's
and we'll
right.
see how this goes. Unfortunately, Ryan can't hear it yet. So that's too bad. So sad for Ryan. But everybody else gets to listen to the cool stuff.
I'm
Good
not
morning,
blessed
Ryan.
enough, but the audience will
Right.
be blessed.
Right. I think it's a matter that you haven't prayed hard enough, or maybe you've just been too wicked,
I have been slacking.
too sinful. You've been
I have to admit.
yeah, slacker, big time slacker. That's what I hear anyway.
Sorry, folks.
The gossip through the atheist verse. Good morning. How's your week going, Miss Ryan? Did you get your drugs? Were you able to get your drugs yet? No drugs yet. Damn.
Nope,
That's
not yet.
unfortunate.
Nope, I called again and no deal, no joy.
They failed. That's unfortunate. Well, otherwise, How's things going for you?
Otherwise, things are okay. Hubs came back last night, so that's nice.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So you guys, let's see. That means you're probably going to have Firefly finished, right? Or do you?
Oh, we finished Firefly, and we're like, yes, and the movie.
Oh, okay.
And
Oh, you're in Stargate now.
Yeah, now we're back into Stargate.
Gotcha. You know, trust me, it will get better. Here's one of my things. Not that we're going to ruin the Thursday morning. We can talk about this all day long tomorrow, but I just want to mention. I think I'm a pretty good aficionado of science fiction. And if you enjoy Stargate and you go through Stargate, whenever you get to season 7, the end of season 7 is like a 2 or 3 parter, and it's one of the best sci-fi movies. I feel it's a really good movie. And the reason why is because they thought it was getting canceled. So they were making a movie. They were most of the way into making a movie, and then they got picked up for an 8th season. So they just turned all that into it. But I mean, it kind of culminates all the things you've been watching throughout these 7 years. Gets really good. After that, it kind of falls off. But you'll have to, a little bit. You'll find out. Just depends.
How many seasons are there?
There's 10 seasons of Stargate SG-1. There's 5 seasons of Stargate Atlantis. And there's 1 season of Stargate Universe. And then there's 2 or 3 movies. Not counting the one you've already seen.
Sheesh.
I know, right? I know. It's crazy talk. Let's say hello to everyone this morning and say hi. Michael Wolf is here from the other side of the world. Kind 9 is here. Captive Desk. Good morning, Dave. How are you doing? I hope you're having a great week so far. Rainbow Ash. Good morning, Rainbow Ash. Let's see why. Because Weed Bro. Thank you for joining us. And really, I saw really, and of course, Chemical Squirrel. Again, we don't want to. Oh yeah, look at the trees. Good morning. Look at the trees. And of course, all of you wonderful lurkers out there. Thank you for joining us. I just want to say Chemical Squirrel, good morning. Chemical Squirrel said almost done with Firefly. So tomorrow you'll probably really enjoy tomorrow's show because we're going to hit it hard with the Firefly. Yeah, we're going to do the thing. Now, me and the Evil One watched my favorite, one of my favorite episodes. Don't talk about this. Don't talk about this. Not this. Not this. Good morning, Joe. Joe, the Kentucky Avies. We have a topic today. Oh, and Caitlin Chloe is here. Casey, good morning, Casey. How are you doing? Hugs, everybody. I hope everything's going okay with you and GE. Hope John.
GE's killing it over there, man. He putting them ice down. He's putting them out the pasture. His little takedowns. They crack me up. Yes. So in the world we live in, and things are getting crazy too. Let's not talk about that though. I have other things to talk about today. The show on point, man, on point. The topic of today is the question of the day. The topic of the day: does Scripture come from imagination or hallucination? Now, obviously, it can come from both because there's so many different scriptures we're talking about. But the question of the day, obviously, of course, is related. Now. I know you're not going to believe this, my friends, but my poll, if you'd like to see my poll, it's quite an impressive poll this morning, but it is a little biased. So don't be surprised. Anyway, the question of the day is, setting aside supernatural claims, is the source of Scripture mainly a product of imagination, hallucination, ignorance, or deceit? I think we're going really because all of them fit. Okay. I think it's more of a which pile. If you were to pile each one of them stack them into piles, which pile would be highest? Okay. So here are the options I gave in the option. I only have 4 options and I put 3 and then a none of the above. Option number 1, imagination. People trying to explain the world. I'm limited 65 characters. So probably, I give it a lot of that, people, And then the second option, that one actually is coming in first with 65% of our poll. There's a link in the top of the chat, my friends. If you have not voted, go vote. Go do that voodoo that Satan compels you to do right now for me and Ryan. Or we'll tell on you. We'll tell George Soros and we'll tell Lucifer. Anyway, option number 2 is hallucinations, good Canaanite drugs, because in the day they did have opium and other things. They had good stuff back there. I say good stuff. I've never done any of it, so I have no idea. I've just right. We're saying it's good stuff. I mean,
I'm just saying, yeah, if your idea of a good time is to hallucinate a god or a religious scene in your mind,
Well, what else are
Drugs
you
are
going to be
bad.
doing back then, Chris?
Right. What would you be doing there? Yeah.
Trying to
Want to get
survive?
away? Yeah. You think like weed is an escape thing today. Just imagine what those things were back then.
I don't blame them.
Oh, yeah, especially like with your tooth problems or any, goodness
Any
gracious.
ache, any pain, any just, depressed about having to live the way they did at times.
That's right. I just want to mention, I grow weary of the circumstance. So I'm going to rebuild the show probably over the weekend, and hopefully it'll look better, more good, or most good as come next week. Maybe.
Sweet.
Possibly. Just want to throw that out there.
Sweet.
Yes. So Locked on Law, flat and center of the universe, like whoever Emma Watson is dating thinks. I miss out on what's going on there. Good morning, Trip. Adrian Belgrave, a Christian in the chat. Our Christian in the chat. Very awesome Christian in the chat. Adrian, what do you think? If you leave aside supernatural claims, which do you think most likely explains more of? I think, to be honest and to be fair, without being a jerk about it, I really think imagination. I think it was a lot of it's the human mind trying to understand what it sees in the world. And we don't all, you ever see little things out of the corner of your eye and there's nothing there? The older you get, the more that happens after prolonged drug use. Anyway, they're just different cultures have different names for those kinds of things that aren't really there. They're just like jinn. That's kind of the thing about a jinn in the Middle Eastern desert things. They're like little things that are helpful, or, you out of the corner of your eye, you might see them, or some of that business. It's just people trying to explain things around them. That's the credit I'm going to give them. Now, option number 3, which is coming in second place with 26% of our vote. Let's see how many people have voted. 23 votes so far. Option number 3, intentional deceit, a method of control. And see that, I really got to say, that's a powerful one there. We've joked on this thing about how you can be reading a scripture and it just reads like today in our modern understanding of the world. It's like, you know what it looks like? Those priests in that temple needed more goats. So they found a scripture that said, hey, if you're a pregnant woman, you're unclean until you give us a goat.
We need them goats.
Really, that's kind of how a lot of it reads. They just like they make this shit up, just depending on what they tend to need. And yeah. So in that case, is it deceitful? Are they being deceitful with their control of the holy texts? Let's see here. Austin Sims, good morning, Austin Sims. Thank you for joining us. I've got my hippie speedball on this morning, Miss Ryan, my cannabis and coffee. So I will actually stop for a moment and let you talk.
I was just looking at what Austin Sims says about polyatomic ions. And I'm just, yeah,
oh, okay.
You should be, because, the polyatomic ions are just truly important to who I am as a person. And I think that it probably would be fulfilling for Austin to understand the polyatomic ions the way that I do.
The way that you do, of course.
I just want that for him.
That's right. And he's not getting any younger. The prime age is like 22. Is good. The good mind. It gets jelly after that.
Oh God, he's shot.
I don't know how old he is. How old is he? I mean, he is not 22 though. Yeah, he's on the way down. So if he better get after those polyatomic ions. Catch up, man. Catch up, you slacker.
Oh,
sorry.
Kip has never used drugs, he says.
Kip, you do not look like an individual who has never used drugs. I don't mean to be judgmental. 1,000 apologies. I am just saying you look like a man who's kind of been around the world. Like you look like somebody I could pull up to and just break out a joint with. That's like, and you just look really cool.
Is it
not that you're not cool?
Goatee?
Yeah, it's the goatee. It must be the goatee. Yes. Good morning, Kip. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Kip. I've never used drugs. I had many religious experiences. These were not hallucinations. That's what they all say, by the way. Religion is highly complex in its patterns itself after human behavior. Yes. They're really, kidding aside, no, without being a jerk aside, there are so many different things that can happen. Different influences that people can are different influences that can happen to people that make them think certain things or believe certain things. Obviously, I don't believe in a God or supernatural beings, so I have to explain it some other way. And I think there's a lot of good intention in the Bible, but also a lot of bad intention. Whenever we think about things like, I've got notes here that whenever we look at people like Abraham. Abraham's a good example. But now somebody mentioned Muhammad, but Abraham, as far as hallucinations, was he really hallucinating? Now we also got, like, according to the person whomever wrote this book, right? It was either Abraham or, it was obviously fan fiction wrote this book. And where did he get these hallucinations from?
What inspired them?
Yeah. And the Lord speaking, coming to him in a vision, he says, the Lord came to him in a vision. That's how Genesis chapter 15 opens. The Lord came to him.
What's a vision?
Yeah. Well, there's a good, what's a vision? Now Kip Davis does said he's never had done drugs but he's also had many religious experiences, spiritual, possibly experiences, you mean. But let's see. Okay, gotcha. So there are those kinds of things. Hallucinations on drugs. There could be a lot of reasons. There could be malnutrition. There could be all kinds of things. Lack of water, lack of sleep. Lots of things.
Something in the water?
Something in the water. Lack of clean water. That's a great thing. Could have been any kind of diseases they may have had. Anything.
Emotional stress.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of reasons. Okay, now there's also the other thing that not only whenever we talk about priests in temples writing that, hey, if a woman has a female child, she needs to sacrifice or bring a goat and a dove to the temple and sacrifice them and give them to us, pretty much, in order to get rid of her sin. That seems like it's very them-centric. But then whenever you also look at examples like Abraham and Lot, in the story of Abraham, chapter 16, Genesis, Abraham tells or Abraham's wife, essentially, it opens with her going, we haven't had any children, so I'm going to give you my slave and you can have sex with her. And then Abram's like, okay, cool. Despite the fact that in the last chapter, the Lord specifically told him he was going to have children. So he should have just...
the weirdest part about it.
trusted the Lord, yeah. But then, so let's just start with that. Who do we think really... it's like, who wrote that? Do you think, I'm just saying, this is really hard to express. It feels like misogynistic oppression. Like the man wrote that. It's like, he said, he's sitting around going, you know what? I want to hit that over there. I ain't got no kids from her, but I'm going to hit that. Oh, that slave girl is so nice looking. Hagar. Did you see Hagar, the way she bends over? Anyway. But who's the one who writes the story? He's the one who writes the story. So he's right. And he's like, smacks his wife around, I'm going to have sex with her or whatever. I don't know. Whatever they did back then. And then he's the one that writes the story. And he writes it, well, she insisted. We see that today. That's exactly what you see in an abusive relationships today, where the men do the thing and then claim the woman did it or browbeat her into it. Or even, gaslit the woman into,
Right.
How many years did she sit there listening to this son of a bitch whine about not having kids before she's finally like, fuck.
Like, okay,
fuck,
fine.
Go get her. Go.
I get it. Jesus, Abraham, I get it. Okay, fine. Here.
They're in there. Yeah. It's clearly important to him. In chapter 15, the Lord comes to him in a vision, and the very first thing he's like, nice to meet you, Lord, but you haven't given me any children. It's like,
right,
so it's
like
clearly important.
Right. Like, oh, hey, nice to meet you, Lord. Like, damn, I'm your biggest fan. Like, thanks so much for everything I have. You're so cool. Like, remember that time, like when you created us? Wowsies. Like, no, he's Wowsies. Like, this bitch that I got. You know what I mean? Thanks, Abraham. God damn.
Thanks, Abraham. Yeah. And then I have another good example set aside intentionally for this, and we can banter about these later on as we want to. And you're gonna be like, well, this is the drum I beat on regularly, and it's the Lot. The story of Lot. Lot and his daughters go up into a cavern, and then the man. Now,
the odds back in this time of day, let's just, all right, we're going on a lot of presumptions here.
I mean,
that Lot was real.
For?
That's what it's for, to learn that Lot was real, that these things happened in his story. And so now we're going to judge it based on that. That's kind of what happens. Now, going on their own story, Lot gets sent up mountains with his daughters into these caves, and then his daughters conspire against him to get him drunk and to have knock boots with him and to get pregnant. And they get this old man, he's an old man. They get this old man so drunk that he can't remember doing the deed, yet he's able to get it up and do the deed.
Right.
These are not, as a man, they call it whiskey dick. Have you ever heard the expression whiskey dick?
Trust me, I know about.
Very disappointing to go out to a bar, get all, ooh, baby, and you get all Latin and you find, come on home, and you get all home, you're so drunk, you're like, I don't know. He was there earlier and he's not there now. I don't know. It's not fun. But to imagine that Lot went through that not once, but twice.
Yeah. Back to back.
Back to back. And then he leaves the cave. He leaves the cave and he bumps into people like, hey, these people are like, you went up into that cave, dude, and you went up there with your daughters, and now you come back and they're both with a child. What's up with that? Did he go, you know what? I got drunk. I hit it up with my girls. I couldn't help myself. I just did it. I couldn't and admit what he had done. Or did he go, well, they got me drunk?
Right. He just put the blame on them. Well, it wasn't me. I'm innocent. I didn't know what was happening to me.
Right. Yes.
Give me a
and
break.
in the same chapters as we go through the book of the Bible, the Genesis, as we go through, Sarah talks to the Lord. Abram and Sarah both talk to the Lord, and we get the distinct impression, you do not conceive without the blessing of the Lord. That's kind of weird, though. Doesn't it make that kind of weird that all these people, the Lord's got to be like going everywhere all the time in people's beds? Oh, look, there's a baby. They're doing it. I got to wait. And then he's got to jump into her uterus.
Well, part of that is also because that was a necessity for the patriarchs, for the misogynists, because it was Asherah who was the one who was fertile and helped the women get pregnant. So it was necessary to now put that onus now on Yahweh.
Yes. I want to mention earlier, somebody mentioned earlier that Lot's wife didn't have a name.
Right.
And that's interesting. I find that interesting, damning, if you will. But also, and I've mentioned this before, that we go back to Genesis chapter, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, somewhere in that business. And you'll get an entire chapter, literally an entire chapter where the entire population of the earth is created from almost no one, and they don't mention women at all. It's like there was nobody, and then Adam had Bob, and Bob had Steve, and Steve had Mike, and Mike had this. And now in the next chapter, at least he gives some credit. Mike had sons and daughters. Steve had sons and daughters, but nowhere other than that does it mention women at all. No credit is given to the ones who do all the work that comes with raising a child. You can argue with me in the chat, like I mentioned, like who changes the baby's diapers? And people have been in the comments of my video going, they didn't have diapers back then. Well, don't be a dumbass. They had something back then. They just didn't walk around with their kids having shit all the time. They had cloth, pieces of cloth of some fashion that they did it. And it was the women who did it. It wasn't the men who did the thing and took care of the child. But no women are named whatsoever. Named, they're not mentioned at all in an entire 10 generations of people, and not a single woman is mentioned at all in reference, let alone being named. Screw being named.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess Sarah really got off lucky.
I mean, maybe in all honesty, it's probably better that they didn't have names, because I can only imagine if they were named, what people would be doing with those names nowadays. Like they took one of the names out of the Bible, Delilah, or whatever, I forget, and turned that into like a popular slave name.
You know, there are, in fact, numerous names of women throughout, I guess, the Bible and other texts that are often vilified, or in the stories were vilified. Lilith is a, I don't really know how Lilith falls into the whole deal, but that's a name that people use. Rachel is a name that goes around. I believe Rachel is the name of Abraham's granddaughter-in-law.
Yeah, Joshua's wife, or is that Joseph? Oh shit! Sorry, guys. One of them's wives.
Abraham, Joshua. If you guys are watching, sorry,
Jacob. Thank you,
Jacob. Yes, thank you. Jacob's woman. It was Jacob. See, so yeah. Now, here's the thing I want to ask, and it's a great thing. Godless Granny's in the chat. Good morning, Godless Granny. And misinterpretations. I'm sorry I haven't been really watching the chat, but let me throw this out there before I forget it, because Dr. Kip is in the chat and other smart people. My notion is that there are very few women in the Bible who are not villains. Women are almost always the villain in the story in one way or another. Whenever we look at the story of Lot, as mentioned, the girls get the father drunk. In the story of Abraham, well, I don't really know about Abram. She just wasn't really named. She was just a tool. I mean, she did stuff. Oh no, she's the one who gave her slave to her husband, allegedly, and then treated her slave so poorly that the slave ran away with their child. So this is Sarah. So she's a villain. Now we look at Job and his wife. Job, as everything was collapsing and everything was going wrong around them, Job's wife is going, "Go ahead, curse the Lord." Yeah. Why would you continue praising the Lord whenever, right? So throughout the Bible,
she wasn't
with the exception of maybe Mary, I'd like to know, Kip, can you think of any women in the Bible who are named who are not villains? They don't even have to be named, but who are not villains. Is there any good heroes in the Bible? It's Rachel. I don't even know the story of Rachel.
They don't vilify the first judge. It starts with a D. Deborah. Thank you, guys.
Deborah.
Okay. She's the first judge, and she's quite frankly, I don't understand how she's like not more of a hero to people, because she crazy. She cool. Gotcha. She's a beast. She's beast mode.
I'd have to find out more about her.
Yeah, she's like the first judge, or one of the greatest judges and like leaders. And she's also the one who I don't know if it's a hire, possibly like they hired what do you call it? Like you can hire people for hire and they fight wars for you. There's a name.
Hired people. Mercenaries?
Yeah, like that. Yeah. He could have been hired, not sure, but his name is Shamgar ben Anath. So he was a fighter for Anat, the goddess of war. So it's really cool that in some way, Anat was kind of fighting side by side with Yahweh.
That is, one of the things I think is interesting that I really should do is clarify what I'm asking you, because whenever I'm talking about the women in the Bible, I'm just talking about the NIV Bible here that just, everybody picks up. I'm not talking about the actual, because there's so much to the history of the text and where it came from and all of the stuff, context. There's so much more than I understand just coming out of the NIV. So out of the NIV, I may have to go look and see how they read. But, we think like Deborah. I'd like to go find out about Deborah.
She's really cool. And it does really, really make me mad that she's the head honcho, basically, for the most part. And like, this is the time of the judges, righteous judges. And especially like the JWs, I don't know about other people's religion, but the JWs, like, okay, they talk about it, but then they glance over it and go back into the whole rhetoric of women can't lead, women aren't supposed to. Like, bitch, what don't you know about Deborah? You need to ask somebody. Deborah has something to say about that.
Well, I think it's fascinating that you mentioned these things, because I know I could tell you in the smallest part of my brain back there that there was a woman named Deborah in the Bible, maybe. But the fact that there's this awesome person there and I don't really know, it tells you about she's not in the zeitgeist. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Probably, I would think probably in Judaism, probably way more. But of course, in Christian religion, unless they're women, like if they're progressive, probably. But other than that, J-dubs. They just kind of glance over, oh yeah, here she is. Cool, great. Now let's go back to the men. And she don't even fuck up. Like, that's the thing. Like, she don't even do no fuck shit like Abraham does. But Abraham's constantly forgiven for his fuckery.
Yeah. That's why I want to go and look, because I've never, like I said, I don't know anything about her, so I'll go read about her. Like, you might think of it, Sarah, and go, well, I know of Sarah, she's this wonderful lady. She's the mother of this person, and she was selfless and gave her husband this other woman, all these other things. And then the other woman treated her badly, so bad. You know, you could actually make Sarah into kind of a victim/hero.
Yeah, I guess. But I think people talk far too much about her.
That's right. Well,
I mean, we have to. You know what I mean? Like, that's different. Right, but I just mean, as far as like Christians, they talk so much about her. Like, bitch, she was mean. If anything, she should have been, oh, hell no, you're not putting your hand on her. She don't want you. And she doesn't have a choice. Do you not understand the power dynamics here, AB?
That's right.
AB, baby.
Right. And again, it all kind of leads us back to who wrote the book. Do we really think that Sarah wrote, or Sarai, whichever, wrote the book? Mm-hmm. Just like Lot's daughters, who wrote the book?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, there's a big misogyny thing. We're given the presumption that whoever, I think in a lot of these cases, they're reflections of the author's lives or thoughts or some business. I don't know. For some reason, though, it sure does seem like very often the wives are the villains in the more popular stories of the Bible. And that's why now I need to go check out Deborah.
Yeah. There's a few in the New Testament, too. But again, they will just gloss over them. Paul talks about like leaders of the church, specifically, even mentions them by name. He mentions a female apostle by name. And again, it's just treated as if it's just like a passing thought, but everything else is extrapolated out. You know, any other little tiniest detail, there's so many assumptions and presumptions put on it, but we have like credible names from the lips of Paul, Phoebe, who's a deacon in the church, and zilch, you barely hear about her. She's not used as an example as to why women should be able to lead, nor is Deborah.
Right. Well, because she wasn't subservient. One of the things is like Eve. When I've always, for what I've known about the Lilith story, was essentially that Lilith was first. She wouldn't put up and be subservient to Adam, so he got rid of her, and then Eve would. That's not in this book I was reading. Where do you find these? You know, where do they find these? I want to mention, hey guys, before I get too distracted, because I do get distracted. I noticed Casper Holmes, don't recognize your name. I'll come back to you in just a minute because you had a question. And then there's also Willow. I saw you. Where'd you go, Willow? Willow. Wait a minute. I haven't seen you in a very long time. And good morning, Philip Lister. Thank you for joining us.
And Dade came in too. We didn't say hi to Dade either.
Did Dade? Man, we're bad people. We've just been going along. Isn't Putin about, or Purim about Deborah? That's a good question. See, I need to learn about Deborah. But I thought I saw somebody. Willow Dog? I can't remember now. It goes by so fast. Anyway, good morning, everyone. Thank you all, obviously, for joining us. I want to mention this is something that I feel theists fail at. They really fail at defending their God. And for a moment, just for a moment, I'm going to take the role of a theist and actively argue a thought here. Now, this is, I'm not trying to be contrary or anything, but our individual here, good morning, Casper Holmes, asked a question. And the question was, what did koalas eat when traveling to the Ark? Eucalyptus didn't grow in the Middle East. That's a fascinating question. I would argue, if I were a Christian, that they didn't need to eat. You know, God took care of that. He just made it to where they didn't need to eat. He's God. He can do anything. You know, they didn't need it. They went to bed one night, or went to sleep one night in the jungles in Australia. And when they woke up the next morning, they were there before the Ark, because God can do anything.
And they turned
these are so many
into herbivores and vice versa.
Yeah, he didn't even have to do that. They could already have been carnivores and just left them. They didn't need food and they didn't poop, because he's God. He can do anything. I don't see why they don't ever seem to use that argument. That is such a better argument than they didn't eat animals until after. or they didn't do this, or they try to make all these arguments and excuses for how logically. Well, you're not using logic. You're not using this the ace card up your sleeve. The God, the Deus Ex Machina, it can do anything. So this all of our arguments against the ark and how the animals, how kangaroos, how did they get there? How did they get there without leaving any bones of the dead one? They didn't have to. God just made it happen. Because that's how God is. How did they get? Here's another one. I love this. They're like, they couldn't have gotten 5 million different species on the ark. Well, they could have, because God, they just walk in, and it's like the TARDIS. On the outside, it's so much smaller than on the inside. They walk in. Do they need to poop? Is there gas from all the poop? No, because he's God. They don't need, so many. I think I would be so much of a better arguer for the notion of Noah's Ark than what I've seen. Yeah.
Like there's so much pageantry to all of that. When, like, as you said, he's the almighty. He can just snap his fingers and make it so. The animals don't need to eat. The animals can eat. Whatever it is. Why do all this rigmarole? Like, why are you wasting your time? Why are you expending your energy? I mean, we saw what happened to you after 6 days of creation. Homie had to take a fucking break. Okay, old dude, chill. It's cool. We got you.
Your knees and back got you, right? Is that what, me too.
Honestly, I don't know what else you'd need to take a break for. Almighty my ass.
That's right. Thank you for the $2 super chat from Godwin. Good morning, Godwin. Thank you. Says, if God magicked hunger, why jump so many ark hoops? Yeah, there are a lot of things. I just think their God is so much weaker than they just haven't put enough effort into. I
agree with you. I could come up with so many excuses if I truly wanted to be a simp and an apologetic. Absolutely.
And I think part of the reason why they try to throw logic at it is because we hit them with logic. So we run across a guy and we're like, all right, so let's talk about Noah's Ark. How did all those animals get from point A to point B? And they don't remember the trump card. I hate to use the word Trump. They don't remember that magic card up their sleeve, the Deus Ex Machina, that they can pull out at any time and go, God did it. God made it that way because he can do that, And when he does something, it's because he didn't want to do that. God made everything in the entire universe, but he had to make Eve out of somebody's rib. He couldn't just pop her. You know why? Because he wanted to.
Right.
That's just,
And we have the first story where they already created them. Like the first creation story already has humans, and they're created at the same time. But people are so silly they don't realize it's two separate stories, and they only focus on the Adam and Eve one. Why? Because it fits their agenda.
True. Good morning. Thank you, Godwin, for the super chat. Godwin says, that's okay, Chris. That's not President or Resident Chump's real name. You're right. Technically, it's not. The difference is on our side, we actually tend to respect people whenever they ask to be called by something. Or the other side doesn't. Just imagine if every time Ted Cruz got up there to speak, he had to call himself Raphael.
Angel name?
The connection of Eve to the rib is based on a very old Sumerian myth called Enki and Nuhursag.
Oh, yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah. That's right.
Interesting. Wow.
A lot of connections there. A lot of connections between those old stories and the new.
Yeah.
The new.
I did a sound effect and it scared people in the chat. Maybe.
Did you? I don't know. Sorry, guys. I can't be scared for once.
She can't hear it for once. So there's lots of different notions about what happened, why it happened. I really think there's this thing. I want to learn more about I want to say heroes of the women heroes of the Bible. There's just, I feel like so few. And now I want to know about them, Like you said, Deborah didn't do anything wrong. I don't know anything really about Mary. All my stuff is Old Testament stuff. I guess I should read the New Testament.
Well, they take one of the Marys and try to turn her into a sex worker, and that's not what the Bible says. That's not in the Bible. That's just something that came later from the haters or the doctors of the word or whatever the hell they like to call themselves. Right. So even when we did have positive role models, they shit on them later. So even if the Bible does say something nice about them, then later they're like, oh no, we can't have that.
Yeah, I'd be interested to find out who is the very last named woman. Who's the last woman in the Bible mentioned, and whether she's a villain. Because the very first one is Eve, and she's a villain. So I don't know who the last woman is in the Bible.
Right,
I wonder if she
and that's all intentional. That's not like one of the oldest stories, about the Hebrew God or creation or whatever the hell. But that's like the first one they pop into the front of the book to give you that impression.
Very true. Yep. We have Trina's Creative Chaos in the chat. Says, been a hot minute since I've been in here. The channel is growing and spreading love, and it's great. Chris, that shirt is a great color on it. Thank you very much.
I do like that color.
Trying to fancy and whatnot. Thank you. So appreciate you. Nice having you here again, Miss Trina, and lots of smart people in the chat. Misinterpretations is here. Being all smart with Kip. They're smart people.
I
don't do smart people stuff. Enkidu.
Enkidu.
Did I say that wrong?
No. I think it's a cool name, Enkidu.
Oh, it's a cool name, is what you said. I see. I misunderstood what you said. Gotcha. It is a cool name. We were late going on a break. We have not gone on a break. Would you guys have a preference? I do. Probably. I have more things working in the pipeline. Let's play something I haven't played in a while, like the Conspiro Win. We'll be back in 2 minutes, and we'll do some more talking. We'll do more stuff. Oh, don't do that one. Do that one.
Being made of ice is far-fetched. No one's going to believe that. In a world where people believe windmills cause cancer, we say no dream is too big. Conspirowin will take your fledgling idea and feed it to our YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok operatives. And these savvy social media professionals will raise doubts with the prevailing scientific consensus. They will say no one has ever seen the planet's core except Jesus. And science is wrong all the time. That's why science has theories and not Jesus. Within 30 days, we guarantee you CNN will run a story on how your conspiracy theory isn't true. We will also give you 100% assurance Fox News will say your crazy idea about the Earth's core being an icy ball is true. Follow your heart. Listen to the voices no one else can hear. Team up with Conspirowin.
Hey, here we are. Well, thank you all for letting me know about the audio. I don't know why the commercial was muted. If you remember, we have the alert. For those of you who are new to the channel, I have a way for our people in the chat to alert me if there's a problem. And you type the apostrophe and the word alert, and it will make a sound I can hear. So for those of you who didn't know, let us see. Adrian Belgrave. The last woman in the Bible was a Lilliputian. The Bible isn't big enough for a full-grown woman.
Wait, what?
Locked on Law says the last woman in the Bible was a Lilliputian. Gotcha. I wonder what other kinds of things. We have mystical creatures in the Bible. How many times are, hey, where are you going, man? How many times are unicorns mentioned in the Bible? Are unicorns like rhinoceroses?
I forget. Yeah. I know I've heard people have told me, like I've listened to the whole, but I can't remember. Isn't that funny? I just can't remember. I do know that it's something.
Yeah.
It's something. Does that help?
It is something. You know what? I'm going to give you just a minute. I'm going to highlight you and I'm going to take me off because my puppy's sick. Hold on a minute. I'll be back.
Oh, no.
I know.
Okay. All right. Well, why don't we talk about one of the women in the Bible that they talk some good stuff about? Why don't we talk a little bit more about Deborah, since Chris doesn't seem to know much about her? I don't know the full story, but I can tell you like the backstory to Anath's part of it, just because I've looked into it. And of course, you know, I'm just an enthusiast. I'm not a scholar or anything like that, but I've like read a few different like books about it. And the reason that they think that Ben Anat, so Shamgar Ben Anat, the person who could have been a mercenary that came to help fight Deborah, is that how I should say it? Not Deborah, Deborah. And as Kip said, it's one of the oldest texts in the Hebrew Bible, allegedly. Oh, what, you want me to actually read it, Kip? I could actually read it. But so anyway, back to the mercenary. So Shamgar Ben Anat, from what I have found, his name means sword. So his actual title would have been Sword of Anat, because Ben means like son of, something like that. And Anat is the goddess of Canaan. She is a war goddess. She is the goddess of fertility. I want the NSRVUE. It always, I wish you could change the default to the NSRVUE instead of the NIV. So they have found arrowheads, and I don't remember what they're made out of, but they have inscriptions on them, and they have the name of the person, whoever the mercenary, the person that is subservient or a worshiper or venerates Anat, their name, and then Ben Anat. So it seems to be a significant title of people. So it has led these scholars to believe that it's not just a happenstance name. It's not just this guy's name. His name is Shamgar, and his mom's name is Anat. That this is a significant person who not only venerates her, but fights for her. So there could have been like a whole army. Again, I don't know the terms, but a whole army of these mercenaries who are Ben Anat. But that's just so cool. So don't denigrate it like people try to do, because, you know, they don't want to admit that a goddess is mentioned in a good way in the Bible. Like, be proud of it. That's freaking kick-ass. Okay, so let's read it. The Song of Deborah, and this is Judges 5, and this is the NRSVUE. Then Deborah and Barak, son of Abinoam, sang on that day. When locks are long in Israel, when the people offer themselves willingly, bless the Lord. Hear, O kings, give ear, O princes, to the Lord I will sing. I will make melody to the Lord, the God of Israel. Lord, when you went out from Seir, when you marched from the region of Edom, the earth trembled, and the heavens poured, the clouds indeed poured water. The mountains quaked before the Lord, the one of Sinai, before the Lord, the God of Israel. In the days of Shamgar, son of Anath, in the days of Jael, caravans ceased. And Jael that's a woman, I believe. Kip, help me out, please. Jael caravans ceased, and travelers kept to the byways. The peasantry prospered in Israel. They grew fat on plunder. Because you arose, O Deborah, arose as a mother in Israel. When new gods were chosen, then war was in the gates. Was shield or spear to be seen among 40,000 in Israel? My heart goes out to the commanders of Israel, who offered themselves willingly among the people. Bless the Lord. Sing of it, you who ride on white donkeys, you who sit on rich carpets, and you who walk by the way. To the sound of musicians at the watering places, there they repeat the triumphs of the Lord, the triumphs of his peasantry in Israel. Then down to the gates marched the people of the Lord. Awake, awake, Deborah. Awake, awake, utter a song. Arise, Barak, lead away your captives, O son of Abinoam. Then down marched the remnants of the nobles. The people of the Lord marched down for him against the mighty. From Ephraim they set out into the valley, following you, Benjamin, with your kin. From Machir marched down the commanders, and from Zebulun, those who bear the marshal's staff. The chiefs of Ishar came with Deborah, and Ishar, faithful to Barak. Into the valley they rushed out at his heels. Among the clans of Reuben, they were great searchings of heart. Why did you tarry among the sheepfolds to hear the piping for the flocks? Among the clans of Reuben, there were great searchings of heart. Gilead stayed beyond the Jordan. And Dan, why did he abide with the ships? Asher sat at the coast of the sea. And some people think that Asher is actually like a remnant for the Asherah, the god, even though it's not spelled the same, you know, what is it, homonym or sounds like, whatever that is. Anyway, Asher sat at the coast of the sea, settling down by his landings. Zebulun is a people that scorned death. Naphtali too on the heights of the field. How long is this fucking song? Oh, wait, we're almost there. Hold on. Just hold on. I'm coming. The torrent Kishon swept them. Oh, wait, hold on. I went too far. The kings came, they fought. Then fought the kings of Canaan. At Tanakh by the waters of Megiddo, they got no spoils of silver. The stars fought from heaven. From their courses they fought against Sisera. The torrent Kishon swept them away. The onrushing torrent, the torrent Kishon. March on, my soul, with might. Then loud beat the horses' hoofs with the galloping of his steeds. Curse Meroz, says the angel of the Lord. Curse bitterly its inhabitants, because they did not come to the help of the Lord. To the help of the Lord against the mighty. Most blessed woman be Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite, the tent dwelling a woman most blessed. Water he asked, milk she gave. Ooh, she gave that milk? Okay, girl. She brought him curds in a lordy bowl. She put her hand to the tent peg. Oh, that's right. Yes.
I'm back now. I didn't want to interrupt you. No, you go ahead. The tent pole, you carry on and just go ahead. I'll
more verses. So that's right. Jael is the woman who takes the tent peg and drives it into the temple. That's right. She's a beast too. So these are like two women. Like, okay. Most blessed of women be Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite. The tent dwelling women most blessed. Water he asked, milk she gave. She brought him curds in a lordy bowl. She put her hand to the tent peg and her right hand to the worker's mallet. She struck Sisera a blow. She crushed his head. She shattered and pierced his temple. Between her he sank. He fell. He lay still. Between her feet he sank. He fell. Where he sank, there he fell dead. Okay, so I don't know if y'all know, but I'm just realizing there's a lot of similarity with the prose here between the Ugaritic and how Baal Hadad struck and killed Yam, the storm god, but also too, but also too, even more importantly, there's a lot of similarity here between how Anat, the war goddess in the Ugaritic, killed the god of death, Mot. The means by which she killed him. Oh my God, you guys. Okay, anyway, between her feet he sank, he fell, he lay still. Between her he sank, he fell. Where he sank, there he fell dead. Out of the window she peered. The mother of Sisera gazed through the lattice. Why is his chariot so long in coming? Why tarry the hoofbeats of his chariots? Her wisest lady make answer. Indeed, she answers the question herself. Are they not finding the dividing the spoil? A woman or two for every man. Spoil of dyed stuffs for Sisera. Spoil of dyed stuffs embroidered. 2 pieces of dyed work embroidered for my neck as spoil. So perished all your enemies, O Lord, but may your friends be like the sun as it rises in its might. At the land had rest for years, and the land had rest for years. Okay, there we go. Sorry, done. Oh my gosh, you guys, we're gonna have to read the ball cycle together, because if you guys just heard like what I just heard, you'd be blown away.
That is, I was listening. My puppy was sick. I got it cleaned up. I hope he's better. But I was listening and I was like, wow.
Oh, poetry.
And then the last
tip, poetry.
The last part where she kicks the ass and drives a spike in his head. That's kind of very direct.
Right. I mean, that's very personal.
Yeah.
She's not shooting a gun. You're physically holding the thing up to the mother effer's temple and doing the bang bang.
Right. Yeah. Well, so there are possibly a couple of female heroes in the Bible. That's good to know. One of the things I wonder who wrote those heroines.
I mean, if these are as old as they allegedly say they are, there's who's to say they're not like from a woman?
Yeah, I wonder what possibility there is with our modern technology and AI to analyze the text and let it tell us if these who wrote what, or at least how many people wrote the same texts. Like, how many did Paul write all these texts specifically, or did somebody, that kind of thing?
We're using AI for that. I mean, I know scholars are doing it, like the laborious job of doing it themselves, but I wonder if they're able to. I mean, at some point, I would think that seems like a easier task, to take what we think is truly genuine Paul's with, something like Timothy, just to see the differences.
It sounded like you could almost craft that just in a regular AI prompt and set it on research level on GI or Genesis. And with the right kind of prompt, it would give you a pretty decent, I don't know, just kind of seems like, because people their writing is so different. How they write is so different. The Song of Deborah is possibly 10th century BC. Wow. Wow.
Mm-hmm. And you can see the polytheism in it.
Yeah. And the lack of, and the lack of misogyny. Yeah. Or, yeah.
I mean,
as much as you got with that era. Yeah. I mean, so are there instances in the Bible where they've actively changed names from men to or women to men? I don't think.
They did. Okay, so I do have an answer for that. So, Unia or Junia, however you like to pronounce it, she is the woman that I mentioned that Paul described as outstanding amongst the apostles. So, again, I don't know if you want to say there's a consensus, because I don't know if there is. But let's just pretend that there's a consensus that the name is a female name, and that the way that she and her husband are mentioned makes it sound as if they're also two apostles, because they're sounding among the apostles. So they are two also apostles. So, of course, the dudes who can't stand the fact that a female could possibly be known as an apostle, somewhere in, let's just pretend and say it's like the 14th century or something like that. But one of these church fathers, again, change, like say it's impossible that that's a female, even though there's plenty of others who have acknowledged that it was a female, changed the name to Junius or Unius,
really,
a male name, but a male name that there's little to no record for, right? Because all you have to do is go back to that time. Is there a name Unius? And it's like, I don't know, they might have found like one instance or something of it, but they found several of a female by that, that's a female recorded name. So they have retroactively, and the Jehovah's Witnesses, go check their Bible where it says Unia, they've changed it to Unius to try to make it male, to
really
obfuscate the truth.
That is fascinating. I didn't know they did that. Hey, Dr. Kip obviously knows quite a bit about this. Dr. Kip, you have a link if you want to pop in and visit with this. I would gladly learn from you and Ryan if you felt like you want to pop in and visit with her about it. I'd sit here, run the show in the background, and let y'all educate us. Yes, you're out of. Well, you know what? Let me run a commercial. Sorry. I'm going to run. Should we do the postmortem baptismal kits? Holy halos. Let's give you as much time. Let's go. If you're new here, this is going to be episode 1 of the Bark Bank, which is a parody of Shark Tank. And this is Father Flanagan selling his product, Holy Halos. We'll be back.
Next up in the Bark Bank, a clergyman with a holy hustle and maybe a few unholy loopholes.
Hi, Barks. Blessings and belly rubs to you all. I'm Father Flanagan, and today I'm here seeking $50,000 for 3% of my soul-saving startup, Holy Halos, the world's first, soon-to-be, church-approved condoms. Following the ways of the Lord can be hard and often require sacrifices of the flesh. Well, fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of Holy Halo condoms.
Hold on, Father. The church very much doesn't like condoms. How do you expect to sell these?
Well, you're right, but these aren't just any condoms. No, my furry financiers, these
are permeable, but every single halo has been dipped in holy water, a divine divider between you and sin. You can finally frolic freely and still keep that sweet spot in heaven. Permeable, but dipped in holy water to keep the sin out, but let the babies in. Let you get your stick wet without getting your stick stuck, if you know what I mean.
Oh my! Very embarrassing every time.
So basically, they don't work as condoms, but they let you get away with having sex without going to hell?
Exactly. The church gets to keep making babies, but you don't have to keep going to confession. Think of it. No more guilt. No more awkward "I'm saving myself for marriage" speeches. With holy halos, you can take those pray hands and turn them into lay hands.
Didn't I read that holy water is full of bacteria like E. coli? Won't this be harmful to women's health?
The words are English, but I don't understand the question.
How are you addressing the issue holy water presents for women's health?
Again, I'm not understanding.
She does that. Well, we don't get it either.
Is that mesh from a window screen?
Ah, that's a keen eye you have there, young lass. Yes, yes. Another fine selling point, rough on the outside to increase her shame, as it should be. But, soft and smooth on the inside, internally lubed and ribbed for his pleasure. We even have custom scents.
Scents? Now you have my attention. What flavors we talking? Don't pitch me that vanilla missionary nonsense, Padre.
Well, we do have virgin vanilla, but we also have miracle mint and a cooing camel, and my personal favorite, sweat of the Savior.
And the Vatican, they've blessed this endeavor?
Well, not exactly. I'm still waiting on the papal decree one way or the other.
I love it, but you're asking 50 grand for only 3%. That's rough, Father, real rough.
Not running with the big dogs on this one. I'm gonna stay on the porch.
Me too. Good luck, Father. 15%.
Ouch, 15%, that's highway robbery even for the church.
Come on, Father. We're dogs. We know a bone when we see one. 10%, and we'll even bless your branding.
Look, meet me in the middle, 7%, and I'll baptize all your puppies.
7% works for me. Father Flanagan, it looks like
Wait a second. Our producers say we have a special call-in bidder. Let's get him up on the screen. Folks, we have the guardian of the sacred fire hydrant himself.
Oh no.
Defender of the holy tennis ball and eater of the golden kibble, Pup Oliver Poops a Lot the Fifth.
Flanagan!
Yes, your portrait.
50,000 at 20%.
20%?
And you get to keep calling yourself a father.
Sold to the pup in the very fine hat.
I knew you'd see it my way.
You're very wise, your hiney. Would there be anything else?
He may leave.
Father Flanagan's line of holy halos, ultra thin, spiritually thick. Available in 3 sizes: conservative, medium, and liberal.
My spelling sucks.
That's all right. And we are back. Hello, Hell's Bells. Thank you for becoming a member to the channel. Good morning. We appreciate you. Thank you. There's usually words. So see if there are words attached. Sometimes it doesn't tell me the words. I got to see if there's words. Nope. All right. Anyway, good morning. Thank you. Welcome. I did notice Darth Gently is in the chat. Darth Gently says, my 36, but my mind has lived 3 full lifetimes already. I'm not sure.
Feel that.
I'm coming into the full, yeah. I understand, I think, what you're saying, and you're absolutely right. You, if you're in your 30s, have been through a lot. You've Y2K, plagues, epidemics, all kinds of just once in a generation things have happened to you people. And us, like in our 40s and 50s and 60s. Yeah, I have to say. Anyway. Good morning, gray old dude. God, how are you doing today, God? Thank you for joining us today. We are DNA's here. Wow. Thank you for being here. So I was going on about ourselves, about...
Is the dog okay?
The dog is okay. Well...
Okay. I wanted to ask, but it's like, I hope the dog is okay.
He lost some food.
Oh.
He threw up, but now notice right here, he's got a little red eye. His eye is kind of red. It's got like we took him to the vet, and they gave us some medicine, and yeah, he's better. That's why our computer. For those of you who are new to the show, this is our computer engineer, Ollie. And he's not
At least he
good.
has a reason to slack now.
He does.
Not feeling good.
I know. Yeah, for those, well, did they see yeah, you got to see Pup Oliver. He's an actor as well. He plays the role of Pup Oliver. Poops a lot in the fifth. So I have actually a Grumpy Librarian is here. Good morning, Grumpy Librarian. Kind 9 is here. They said adorable, and my puppies are awesome. We have 5 puppies. 5 of them. They're not all
a house full.
We got a house full. You okay, little man? He doesn't look well. Normally he's got a little more pep in his step. You're not going to throw up on Papa, are you? Interesting. He's a little lethargic. I don't know what's going on. I'll just kind of pet with him here and see how things go. But we have 5. I have 5 dogs who are part of our staff. There's Sadie. She's the camera operator. Bailey is the script writer. Jack runs the lights, make sure it's nice and bright. He's a PTSD kind of dog. Nobody sneaks up on Jack. And then, of course, Ollie is our computer engineer. Who did I leave out? Daisy. Daisy's the sound engineer. So welcome to the show, and if you meet our team. Theoretically, never seen a cloud as cute as Ollie. I know.
He's a fluffy cloud.
Yeah, I mean, normally he's got times when he likes being picked up and times when he doesn't like being picked up. And normally he doesn't, but he's maybe not feeling good this morning. Disco Poppy, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Bob Ross would be proud of that cloud.
What's that?
I said
Bob Ross?
Yeah, he'd be
Right.
very proud of that fluffy little cloud.
Very true. Very true. All right, let's see. Let me check and see how our poll is going. Okay, we're doing good on time here. And we had a lot of people who actually really enjoyed listening to you read out the scripture.
Oh, did they? I hope I did okay.
You have like a following. Right now on our question of the day, setting aside supernatural claims, is the source of scripture mainly a product of imagination, hallucination, ignorance, or deceit? The options I've given are imagination, people trying to explain the world, which is leading, by the way, with 68% of our 40 votes. Option number 2, hallucinations, good Canaanite drugs, so 5%. Yeah, I get it. And then intentional deceit, a method of control, 25%. None or all. I think those numbers kind of probably represent, I don't know, nothing really, but beyond the poll. Anyway, just kind of seems like that would be about the numbers of how often those things happen. Most of the time, it was just people's imagination, them trying to explain the world. About a quarter of the time is people were just being shitty and trying to use it to control and writing books to control other people.
Shitty.
And then 1 or 2 times you had a couple of experiences that are really best explained by drugs. Looking at you, Abram. Looking at you, Gideon. Wasn't Gideon the one that hit the rock and something happened with the rock? I don't remember what happened. Adrian, yes. Kind 9. I attribute that. Okay. Oh yes. Other things. So intentional deceit. So far that's where our numbers go. I had one person on our other post. There we go. Somewhere between bad mushrooms and good storytelling, says Geo Sam. Probably not wrong. Got some good there. Papa Bear has lots of words. Lots of words.
Papa Bear.
Moving on, Papa Bear. No offense. Glenn says it was mainly the product of no entertainment, no internet, no TV, no radio, no printed material, nothing to entertain. Voila, you get scripture.
Sounds like Gilligan's Island. My God.
In a way, kind of does.
Phone, no light, no motor charge, not a single luxury.
Yeah, that applies. Let's see. And it came from primitive, according to Locked On Law, it came from primitive people who didn't know shit about shit, and it still belongs to people who don't know shit about shit. I'm developing this sociological theory, as it were, about this. There's a certain mentality of our population who are always doing shit like this. I haven't figured out a word for it yet. I mean, we could call them Nazis or MAGAs, but that's not an appropriate name to them all the time. Puritans, kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
The
Orthodox,
the Inquisitions.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing, kind of deal. Anyway, there are that here on Gillane's Island, according to Gray Old Dude, no doubt. Who is not waiting for that shoe to drop? I mean, says Trump. I see a news article. Are you okay, girl? Which one got you?
Here on Gillane's Island.
Oh yeah. Wow, that's a video in the making right there. But no, we can't. But we must not. This thing says on the interwebs, it says Trump is opting some of the government out of the shutdown. I think that's interesting. It's probably not going to be anything that does anybody any good, really. But probably not the part of the government that's going to let the Epstein files situation go through.
Yeah. Has Mike Johnson allowed Adelita Grahavalda?
Miss Adelita, if you're watching, apologies. Ryan doesn't mean to be rude. She can't help it.
Yeah, sorry. But has she been sworn in yet?
Not to my knowledge. I haven't seen yet. It looks like they're still, they're still, And you just know that if it was reversed, the freaking right would be up in arms. Day one, they wouldn't have waited this long. They would not have waited absolutely this long. It's just crazy. Anyway, that's kind of what I was popping open to look and see if there was any more news on that, and for what good the news is nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, who can you trust? That's the problem.
Right. Here's an article from MSNBC that I kind of actually like them sometimes. Republicans are setting a trap ahead of Saturday's No Kings rally. We do have a rally coming up. It's called the No Kings Rally, and all across the country, I'm going to say millions of Americans are going to gather to protest the fascist authoritarian dictatorship that's taking over our nation. And they've been priming ahead of time, calling them anti-fascists. Yep. They're Antifa, and they're terrorists, and they're domestic terrorists, and all this other stuff. So they're priming where they can do violence against us. Mm-hmm. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, it's kind of wild, man. Watching it in full effect. Watching Charlie Kirk be turned into Jesus.
Yeah. That is crazy too. So many people are like, but you're taking his words out of context. I'm like, okay, let's go look at the context. And they're like, well, I feel the same way he does. Well, then you're a fucking racist too. Right.
It's not out of context. It's just how you feel.
That's right. Whenever you show them the whole thing and they're like, oh shit, Anyway, well, I think it's kind of funny whenever I get their comments on my videos. They're like, "You're taking it out of context." I'm like, that context crap is so weak, right? Like the episode 15, where God promises all these things that they never come to pass. Go look it up for yourself, man. Go check it out. I'm not taking shit out of context. Anyway, I get ahead of myself. Apostate Linda James, apostate babe, in fact, aposta babe.
A pasta babe.
A pasta babe. So a babe who's really into pasta.
Yeah. No, she's without pasta.
That's true. Well, so she's a pasta babe, then she's into pasta. If it's a pasta babe, then she's out of pasta. It's weird. If it has a hyphen, it just depends on where you put the A. Good morning, everyone. The awfulest Biden wrote a bill that withheld federal dollars from being used to bus black children to white schools. There are oftentimes I see things happen like that where we'll see an instance where the left wing will do something. Occasionally they do. Really, they do stupid shit. But oftentimes there'll be something like that. And Biden wrote a bill to withhold federal. I don't know that he wrote a bill to actually do that, though. Did he, Theophilus?
I would not.
I don't know that Biden doesn't sound like a bill Biden would write. I'm just gonna, without evidence, call BS on that one. But there are many times whenever we on the left will fight a bill that seems reasonable. There's this bill where millions of people are going to get fed. And, Democrats are against this bill because it's going to not help people get their food or whatever. But the Democrats know that in that bill is all this other stuff that's horrific. Oh, yeah, they're going to give you food, but now they're going to take away all your insurance, and they're going to take away all your protections over here, and they're going to take away all your that over there. So they vilify the left because we're against that one little good thing that they put in the bill that they could use as a piece of bait. Are you yawning or sleeping?
I'm sorry, I was yawning. I was just trying not to do it. I was trying not to do it right in front of people's
Got you.
Brandon, leave me alone.
Brandon? Yeah, Brandon. It is usually Brandon's fault. New here, but we do have to apply a fault. Transgression is here. Good morning. Transgression says it's so much like what happened in Yugoslavia. Partisans convinced half the people, the other half were out for blood. That reminds me of the tutus and what were they called? I'm sorry, it's been a while.
Hutus,
the Tutsis and the Hutus and the Tutsis, yeah. Tutsis, I'm sorry, Tutus, Hutsis, Tutu. If you're watching, apologies. But yeah, they do that a lot. They separate the people out. They did so. They attack the innocent neighbors in self-defense. How do you think the Nazi Party got so many Germans to go along with genocide on the Jewish people? They vilified them. They vilified them for years. It's just the same thing they're doing with trans people. The same thing they're doing with trans people and immigrants. With trans people, I think it is such a shame that there are so few trans people out there. They're doing so little harm. They're just people trying to get by. And it's a tiny amount.
They can't stick up for themselves.
I know. And the conservatives make it out like they're this horde, an army of trans people out there taking over all of our sports, and they're cramming the trans stuff down our throats and all this. That's just ridiculous. It's a shame that the conservative misinformation machine on the right has done that to people who already face enough challenges.
Meanwhile, there's the 10 Commandments in schools and Trump Bibles in schools.
Yeah.
But we're the ones shoving something down their throat. Oh, okay.
Meanwhile, back in the halls of hypocrisy.
Yeah. Phone's ringing.
Yeah. Projection 101. Projection. These guys love their projection. Oh my goodness gracious. Lies, projection. It's just crazy, crazy, crazy. All roads lead to Rome, Chris. That's what they want you to think. Actually, I think at one time they do. To be honest, they probably do. Yeah, if they don't, they should. And I want to go to Rome. Would I go to Rome? I'd love to go to Rome.
I would love to go see some of the ancient ruins. And yes, please. I love that.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. Project 2025 wants it to be illegal to not attend. G25 is 48% implemented.
Yeah, they've done it fast, man. Within months.
I think right. I think part of the deal with the 2025 thing is that, and I totally agree with everything you're saying about it, with Donald Trump going along with it. But I think Donald Trump is going to take it further than they think, than they want him to think. Donald Trump is going to take it. I mean, I don't know though. Really, I haven't really gone over Project 2025, but Trump is selling out the American people to the Christian nationalists. It's going to be like Nazis married to, what was it? A wives' tale, a handmaid's tale. It's like if you took the Handmaid's Tale of Christian oppression, sexual oppression, all this ruling, and then you mixed it with the fascist, Nazi, oppressive. Donald Trump is talking about putting troops and then making land attacks on other countries now. Venezuela.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's putting CIA operatives on the ground in Venezuela so they can spot out targets so they can hit them militarily.
They're provoking.
Yeah. Who are they doing this to? I mean, are narco-terrorists? What is a narco-terrorist? How do you know it's a narco-terrorist? I mean, of course, the Trump administration does not like that thing where you got to make sure somebody is who they say they are or who you think they are. What's that called? Weird. Due process, I think.
Oh, that thing.
Yeah, it's not about that. They're not really about much of that.
No, they're not fans of due process whatsoever.
He also wants to hit Sam. Well, this whole thing about he starts going, oh, there's riots, there's this, and he'll like take one news report of one person getting hurt or shot, like in Washington D.C. The one news report of that kid, that big Papa, whatever, that idiot kid, part of who was Doge, who got beat up.
Oh yeah,
And,
I forget even what happened, but yeah.
Big balls, something big balls.
Big
And
balls.
so Donald Trump used that as one of his excuses to put military troops on the ground in Washington, D.C. A tiny little one-time event, you know. And the same thing, he's been doing the same thing with other states, using, why aren't they putting troops in conservative states that have higher murder rates? Well, you know, why aren't they doing that? What's up with that? I don't get it.
Yeah, right. Their intent, his intent, is to stoke fears and to instigate violence by using chemical weapons against peaceful protesters, because they don't want to be outed for the actual criminals that they are. It's why ICE doesn't have to have their faces shown. Yeah, sure, they want to protect them, in as much as they just don't want their peoples being caught, so that way their whole agenda isn't outed. It's not because they really care about them. Give me a break.
It's not. And here's another little, this is a headline, okay? And here's a headline: Trump pitches Justice Department and FBI leaders on newly expanded enemies list. Of course, Donald Trump, we know he has a personal enemies list, because our state, our nation has one, like Osama bin Laden and stuff like that. But Donald Trump has a personal enemies list that he is openly going out after. I mean, this is so illegal. There's no part of what he has been doing for the past 6 months, I don't think, that is legal. And there's nobody that can stop him. So what's going to happen whenever us judges try to stop him, right? But it's only going to be a matter of time before people stop listening to them. He's already calling out the judges as anti-fascist, left-wing. What do they call them? Super left-wing, the way they call super left-wing, radical left-wing.
Oh, right, yeah.
Radical left-wing judges keep blocking his stuff.
And one of them wasn't even one of them an appointed by him.
Yeah, some of them have been appointed by him. Some have been appointed by Reagan or other, Bush, other conservative people. They're like, man, you're going too far. And then they take it to another court until they find one, I guess, that'll pass it. We've seen that happen a couple of times too. K9 says it's horrifying how flagrantly evil the right is being. That's right. You heard about the text messages leaked by the Young Republicans group leaders.
Yeah,
that happened. And did you hear about Vance's response?
No, maybe, but no, I don't think.
He kind of blew it off like, kids will be kids. We all say stupid things.
Of course he did.
These are the future leaders of the conservative party.
Right.
Talking about how they want to execute that's the whole deal. Didn't we talk about this on the show yesterday about how it wasn't even Democrats, it was his own people that he was talking about gassing?
Yeah, right, exactly. I mean, if that's how they talk about people who are technically on their side, I mean, they're closer to their side than they are to ours, I would suppose. Right. And you speak of them in that way, that is very telling, because that is how they see you. It's either with us or against us. Yeah,
that's very much it. And they're spreading that a lot. It's really kind of crazy, to be honest. Here's another one that says Trump has killed 27 people. Trump has killed 27 people in boat strikes.
It's disgusting.
These are killing people. These are murders in international waters, is what they are. They're unidentified people, and I mean, they might be able to say the Coast Guard. Did you read the article about the Coast Guard just netted this huge drug, $1 billion or something in drugs, a ton of drugs, a whole bunch of drugs. They didn't kill them. They didn't burn them apart. They seized the drugs or something. But I don't know. It's just crazy how Donald Trump and they're just going around and they're killing people and they just label them narco terrorists. Now, wait a second. Isn't that kind of similar to what they're doing with the Antifa, where they're calling us radical left-wing terrorists? They're just giving us that name, and that will allow them the possibility to fire on American people.
Yep.
And it is coming.
It just, everything is just a test of the waters to take our temperature, to see what we're willing to put up with. What will we say? How far can they go? What's the litmus test here? Like how far can they press Americans before it's too far? I just wonder what that is. I do put more faith into the American people, because there is far more of us than them. But I don't like the fact that what that means is a lot of Black and brown people, more often than not, will be the ones getting harmed in this whole debacle.
Yeah. By the time the dust settles. But, in a way, part of the deal, it's almost like, because we joke about, well, I don't say we joke about it. We warn, we threaten that they would, if given the opportunity, remove the freedom of Black Americans. I have no doubt. And after watching what the things that the young Republicans said in their thing, I have no doubt that they would eagerly, given the opportunity, take away women's right to vote, take away the Black people's, anybody's right to vote that's not a white conservative, their right to vote, and Black people's literal freedom. I don't think I'm being alarmist at this point. I just can't believe I'm being an alarmist. It just, no.
Well, they would if they could. I mean, it might be a smaller number.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
But regardless, you see how they're talking. They're setting it up.
You remember whenever they were saying they would that they'll do these things like Trump staying in office for a third term? Oh, that's crazy. Because in order for that to happen, 2/3 of the governors of the United States or something would have to come together and vote to change the Constitution in order for this to happen. I could see that happening now. We see governors all over this country falling on their face to worship Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's true.
I could really see that happening. And that's just the legal way. I don't think Donald Trump's going to go the legal way. I think we're going to find very soon that Donald Trump is going to just do without elections. That's going to happen very soon, I think, is how that's going to go.
Well, the trying to go into Democratic states again to stoke fears and incite violence is to put off the upcoming, the next terms for certain.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, as you said, why else wouldn't you, if you cared so much about, keeping the peace and fighting crime, why else wouldn't you go into the most crime-ridden cities? You're going into the Democratic ones. You're going to the ones where you're going to lose seats.
That's right. Well, actually, and also the Supreme Court just struck down a law yesterday, was it, that prevented them, now they can redistrict in the South not based on race. So they can, there was a long time where just yesterday they did it. So Republicans are going to get even more power. You okay, buddy? Going to have more power and more votes or whatever, but more districts because of this. They're gerrymandering. And the reason why is because their rule is so horrific, so utterly horrific, that they have to do everything they can. They're trying to make it illegal. Democratic institutions, fundraising institutions, they're trying to outlaw them. The Democratic Party, they would outlaw the Democratic Party given the chance.
I the way that Trump speaks about us at every opportunity he gets to call, he calls us the radical left. He calls Democrats, the radical left, and that we're the ones instigating, that we're rioting. That we're
you've heard what he said about Portland, right? You can't go to the grocery store. There's riots and fires everywhere. It's complete lies.
And I think he talked about the naked perception of people, and from what from what I heard, is that that's normal in frickin'. They do that every year. Is they do that stuff. So it has nothing to do necessarily with like protesting ICE. They just Portland be weird as they be weird. They getting their weird on. So.
They were doing their. I think they were doing their annual naked bike ride, and they chose to use that opportunity to protest ICE.
Oh well, cool. I mean, but still,
that is cool.
They always do. It's not like
that's right.
Out of the ordinary to pull their genitals out or something specifically. They do this on the normal, but now they chose to honor you with their flaps and dangle bits.
And the visual effects of years of gravity, obviously.
Exactly.
Yes.
I'd be afraid, like riding the bike, some of the B flaps might like caught me in a little garden.
That's hilarious. I tell you what, I'm going to take a little break. Let's take it's the bottom of the hour. Let's do the break thing. What should we do? Let's do the Pharaoh's Curse. They always love the song. Let's give them the song. They love the song. Here we go with the song. We'll be back in 3.
Mi burrito es tan bueno. It burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. El ataco fue no bueno. It stings like a bee. They told me she was his sister. Now I'm plagued between the knees. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse. There's fire between my legs. Mi burrito está no bueno. A full bladder I fear. Abraham's lies and Sarai's touch have left me itching front to rear. Mi burrito está bueno. It burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs. Mi burrito está no bueno. A full bladder I fear. Abraham's lies and Sarai's touch have left me itching front to rear. Mi burrito está no bueno. It burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs.
We're back. Good morning again, everyone. Thank you all for being here with us. Lots of things going on. It's easy to get talking about the politics. I really try not to talk too much about the politics. There's this thing about me wanting to say something because everything is going to shit, but I also got people who are not me I got to protect. So it's just kind of, I can't be as vocal as I want to be about things. Anyway, but I guess I'm as, it doesn't matter. It didn't matter.
I mean, I can't be in videos or anything of mine, even though I would love for people to hear his opinion about some of the like JW stuff from,
really?
Yeah, from like a husband of a weird ex-cult member. Yeah.
Well, I was wondering how, you have some family staying with you temporarily at the moment. And I think you mentioned your daughter.
Oh, no, they're here.
Oh, they're here. Oh, okay.
They're here.
Yes, they're here. Gotcha.
Good.
Disturbingly so. No, so I was just curious how, I remember you mentioned, I think your daughter, is she a non-believer? Didn't she help you get away from the faith?
Yeah, I don't think she's a believer. I think she's kind of like me. She thinks it's all bunk, but she was the one who had watched a TV show and was like, "Hey, Ma, like they said the JWs are a cult," and I was like, "Say what?" And it was just the fact that she was just honest. It was just a normal everyday conversation we would have, and I just trusted her. And I was like, oh, maybe I need to look into that. And then off I went.
Off you went. Well, in that case, you probably were never a very good Christian to begin with.
Well, that's the thing.
You've heard that, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. I must not have been a true believer.
Yes, you weren't a true believer. Yes.
Even though I would have died. I've twice signed my life away saying that if something happens to me, actually probably three times I've signed my life away for operations and said,
no blood. If it goes down, if shit goes down, I'm gonna die for God. Jehovah.
Really?
I did.
Well, yeah, I can believe it. Yeah, that's part of their whole bag. It would be weird, I guess, had you not.
Yeah, that would have been a no-go. They would have.
And how long were you in? How long were you in for? It was many moons, right?
Yeah, basically since the age of 4-ish, and then it kind of got iffy in my 20s because I got married. So I was like back and forth as I would leave my husband and go back home. I'd have to get back into it, and then so it was a really rough period between an abusive religion and an abusive husband. It was like, where do I go for solace? Where do I go for refuge? There is nowhere to go.
So he was not a J-dub.
No.
Gotcha.
Kind of, thank goodness though, because if I may have never left if it was a,
oh,
you know
really?
what I'm saying? Yeah.
It would have been a complete trap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. You never got away.
Probably not. Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're a pretty sharp cookie. So I like to think there are a lot of people out there who can smart them way out of their way out of these things. Those of us who for some time are going, looking around, going, is this real? Who else is believing this nonsense? There are other people I just feel who have the intelligence to reason themselves out of a religion they didn't reason themselves into.
Yeah. And I do think that was part of a blessing for me is I did have a period where there was no religion. I really didn't know much about Jesus religion at all. And it was only until my parents started Bible study and then we were going to the Kingdom Hall and where I started learning about it. So I do think those few years where I didn't have that stuff being driven into my head and I didn't know much about it maybe helped me, later on in my life. I don't know, maybe regardless, I would have still walked my way out of it. But I know it must be difficult when it's, the first words you're learning how to say are like Jehovah. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I've heard that argument, the argument about you can't reason someone out of into something they didn't, but I really think you can. I think you can. Somebody who,
I mean, it's been done.
Lots of examples.
Tons of examples. Yeah. It just, you don't know, we've been having conversations with some of our friends and stuff, but you don't know what it will take to reach somebody. So, my words, what I say, the way that I say it probably puts a lot of people off, but there might be a number of people who are attracted to the way that I put things, the matter of fact way I might put things. So it just takes all of us, which is why I always encourage people to create content, because I might not be for them, but maybe you are, Chris, or maybe it's Kip or whatever. So just make the freaking content, because one of us are going to reach them eventually.
That's right. we all have different methods, techniques. I'm a little more aggressive than some people, sometimes I'm funny. I come at it from a different angle. If you watch my long form videos, I'm all manner of serious. But otherwise I try to really mock the religions. Matt Dillahunty's he's a pretty aggressive person, but then you also have Hermit Meta, who's the opposite, but all are needed. There's so many voices out there, so many people out there who need to hear this, that if they bounce off my channel and it's not something they like, I would like to think that they're, like you said, is some, maybe somebody who pops in on a Monday thinking they're going to see my show and they see the Java Jugs and they wouldn't have normally liked my show, but they'll go, I just like the opportunity. Yeah. That there's so many different people sending the kind of the same message, but different.
Yeah.
So,
you just need to get it in front of them.
I want to mention that it can be very difficult. I want to mention that after the show, whenever I kill the stream, it's going to forward you over to Ember's channel. She has a stream going live here in about 20 minutes.
Yep.
And the title is Bewitching Women. That's going to be the topic for the show over there today. Sounds like a lot of fun. So you really should, if you can, get over there, watch Ember, check her stuff out. And I guess Bree's moving. I'm reading the chat. Bree's on the move into New Mexico, I think. Yeah. Bree, is it Dr. Ben? Are both moving to I think someone.
Yeah, because they're roommates, right?
Yeah.
I would assume they're both moving for, safety probably reasons.
Gotcha. Yeah, gotcha. Dr. Kip says, by the way, I finished Alien Earth and you loved it. See, there you go. I mean, it just goes to show that, not everybody, because I wanted to, I really wanted to. I just thought the things that were stupid about it were just too stupid. I'm like, oh my God, really? You're going to do that? Really? No. Oh yeah, they did that. Yeah. One of the things I just want to mention is like the crew on the ship. They spend this company, Yutani, it's the Wayland Yutani company, I think at this point, spend billions and billions of dollars on this project. They're willing, once they have the aliens, they're willing to spend trillions of dollars on this project. And yet the best mechanic they can hire looks like a guy who just walked out of a fucking coal mine. Really sitting there chomping his tobacco, spitting. He's got his and his assistant who barely knows him. That's the best they could do with billions of dollars. These things here, just some of the things that kind of just bug me a little bit about.
Annoyed you.
Those are the ones that are not even. Yeah, those are not even the obvious. Those are like you actually have to think about that one for a second. But the obvious ones, and then but I mean, I appreciate Dr. Kip's position on it and to enjoy it. Yeah. And then see, that's something else. Dr. Kip says, in the future, billions of dollars is like $100. That's kind of I disagree. I disagree because they really in this movie treat it like $1 trillion is a big thing. 300 years from now, boy genius or boy cavalier is the youngest trillionaire in the world. And they make it sound like it's a big deal. That he mentions it several times that he was the youngest trillionaire. So if a trillionaire was like a 10,000-aire today, I just don't think that would have the same weight. No, Dr. Kip is not wrong. And here's part of my problem. I'm applying way too much logic to this.
I know, right?
And she just enjoyed. You said you were going to do something. Do you need me to change?
No. I was just laughing. I was laughing.
Oh yeah. I'm applying way too much logic to this. Do you remember me watching the first couple episodes, and thinking, I kind of enjoyed it. Not one time did I go, oh my God, this is stupid. I remember thinking that, and then, oh my God, episode 4. Some of the premises in the beginning were a little out there, but I mean, some of the things they did were just, oh my goodness. And they got this big, huge lab. Oh, and he may have been joking about liking the show. May have been what Dr. kept. Yeah, but $1 trillion is a fuck ton bigger than $1 billion. It really is. It really is. Well, $1 trillion is 1,000 billion, just like $1 billion is 1,000 million. Remember when $1 billion was an unrealistic number? Now everybody's a fucking billionaire.
Yeah.
This little tiny over here just bought out this other tiny company over here for $6 billion. So what's $1 billion today?
I don't like this.
But who knows? There have been times where the economy has had setbacks and the value of the dollar has gone up and down and up and down. And who knows, perhaps in the future. And one of the things, were they dealing in dollars? I think they were. Was it dollars? I think they were talking about dollars. In the future, there's 5 companies that rule the entire world, and apparently they all use dollars now.
Oh, of course they
See
do.
what I mean? I don't remember them talking about credits or anything. I thought they were dollars. I'm pretty sure they were dollars.
The dollar is so desirable, you guys.
Kip Davis is known. Yeah, he honestly loved the show. One of the things to be remembered is that most of the protagonists are actually children. Kids are dumb as fuck. And see, that's a good point. It was stupid to put children in there. And then you put children in there knowing they're not mature enough, and then you send them on these emergency missions where there's aliens that you know. I mean, Boyd Cavalier knew there were alien specimens there, and he sent each one cost like $6 billion, because apparently $1 billion means a lot, because they kept emphasizing how much these things cost. $6 billion is apparently a thing. Not like $600. I'm just saying. Anyway, so he sends these brand new. This is like days, or it seems like days or weeks after they get these new bodies. He creates this new thing that gives humanity. It's like a new thing. It broadens the humanity. You can transfer. It gives us eternal life for humanity. But fuck that, there's aliens over there. And he's going to throw all of that away because there's an alien over there. And it's just crazy that and then this notion that they are children. Okay, fine, but you're going to let these children run the lab, and that you're going to let them just do whatever they want, go everywhere, wherever they want. There's no monitoring. There's no situation. At best, they have the white-haired guy who doesn't really monitor them. He's got his own agenda. This guy's got trillions of dollars, and they don't have guards in the labs. There was not a single person there to watch that kid go in there. And this is supposed to be go in there and get his face eat off by the flies. There was nobody around to watch for that. These parts were, and then this one chick is screwed up because she's a little girl. She didn't take shit right. So her brain is she's not right. So what they do, she actually starts thinking she's pregnant, going to have a baby. She's a robot. She cannot possibly be pregnant. Oh. So she's having problems. So the company, they have a heartfelt conversation. The bosses, they decide to erase her memories of those events. So they do that. Jeez. And they're like, okay, very cool thing. And then she goes to sleep, and she doesn't have the memories. And she wakes up, and who's there? The robot girl. And the very first thing the robot girl is going to, what are you doing? You don't remember what just happened? You don't remember being pregnant? Literally, I am not shitting you. They went through all this effort to talk about this, about how she's gone crazy, show us she's gone crazy, then how they're going to remove. You would think they would actually go to the other kids and go, listen, guys, we had to do this thing. Remember, don't tell her about the certain. No, literally, when she wakes up to the girl going, hey, do you remember your baby? Where's your baby? That was one of the stupidest fucking things I've ever seen in my fucking life. I couldn't believe they did that. That was just, I don't want to use the word ridiculous, but I want to use the word ridiculous. And then, like at the beginning, this is crazy. They get this ship. It's a ship. It's the size of like the Empire State Building. It's freaking huge. It crashes into a city, hits a big, huge, literal Empire State Building kind of ship. And it's like lots of, you would think this would be a 9/11 kind of effort. Thousands of firemen and emergency workers and all this stuff. And in this movie, they send like 6 people into this ship. Yeah, 6 people. Yeah, search and rescue. Really? I mean, this ship it's crazy. There's just not a lot of, oh my goodness. I'm going off. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be talking about this. I can't help myself. I'm very passionate. I am so passionate, in fact, that I've started. Remember, all right, so here's the deal. I did say that I watched the first episode, and I didn't mind it so much. Then after watching the rest of the series and going, oh my God, I can't believe, I went back and I'm going to review. Now it's gotten me so motivated. I want to review these episodes. And I just figured I'm not going to get a lot out of chapter 1 because I liked it, And I'm like, oh, wait a second. This is, oh my God, they're really going to do this? Why are they doing this? Yeah, I mean, I'm not 2 minutes into the thing and it's already just dripping with stupid.
Well, you know what they say in Stargate? Young ones do not often do as they're told, or something like that. Whatever it is they say.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good one. So that's the one where Jack O'Neill meets the other old man who likes to talk in metaphors and little stories. They tell
smart, or what? They're so advanced they can make themselves invisible or whatever.
Oh yeah,
they said that saying at least twice so far now. So
yeah. Smart. They've come back. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and read our super chats today. Let me see here. Thank you all for supporting the show. And even if you can't financially, just showing up and chatting with us makes us feel wonderful. Thank you very much for that. Today, we did have somebody become a bronze subscriber, bronze level member.
Oh, I think it was Hell's Bells.
Oh, you know what? We actually missed. I missed super chats.
Did we? I thought we did. I didn't get a chance to.
How did I miss it? Maybe I don't know. Sorry for missing the super chats. I will read them now. Left-handed Jedi for $5 said, Old Testament patriarchs' life doesn't start until 600. That's right. In the Old Testament, you got to live a long life. Mm-hmm. Cain's punishment for killing Abel was to be marked to never be killed. Doesn't sound like a punishment. Godwin for $2. Vampire. Godwin for $2 says, if God magicked hunger, why jump so many arc hoops? Yeah, that's true. That was a good one. I remember reading that one. And Hell's Bells became a member at the bronze level. Thank you all for that. Guys, I very much appreciate you tomorrow. We will see you tomorrow for Sci-Fi Friday. And tomorrow we're going to be talking about a Firefly. So if you haven't seen it, John Hudson, if you have not seen Firefly, watch the first episode. Got to make sure you're watching the right episode. I wish I could tell you because it's hard to find them in the right order. But I think this is probably the only sci-fi you'll really like. I suspect it. Anyways, Ryan, thank you very much. Everybody else, you have a wonderful day. We will see you tomorrow for Sci-Fi Friday. Send safely, my friends. Take care.
Got a house that smells like old cheese and shame. Father Flanagan's flesh candles change the game. Goat-scented thrills for your soul's delight. Light it up, baby, make your room right. When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Confession booth, busy, no need to stress. Light a candle and forget your mess. Gross odors vanish like sins in the wind. With each wick, guess who's your new best friend? When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Lambs and calves may have their day, but goat's the scent that leads the way. Slate with a sniff so pure. Father Flanagan's got the cure. Turn your home into a saintly space. With every whiff